lightning, boys. Hit the lightning. 2, 3. Right, Roger.
Well, there's a feeling that in the Green Mile, that the human spirit is alive and well even under the most difficult circumstances. And I think sometimes the more difficult that life becomes, the more the human spirit has a chance to shine.
It's not the kind of story that people immediately think of when you hear Stephen King mentioned. It didn't have the fur and the fangs and the haunted cars, but it had this really rich world that it presented. It felt like that Stephen King that I really, really love, that humanistic writer that he is.
And this is what Stephen King does so well. He somehow is able to really create these characters that are flawed but good, by and large. We usually throw around the names, Stephen King, and you think you're going to be getting this very particular kind of brand of a horror story, and this is really not.
First of all, Frank's script for The Green Mile is the best film adaptation that I've ever read, hands down.
Not only was there a screenplay that nothing should be touched, it was absolutely like the Holy Grail, but Frank had already had a relationship with Tom.
While I was writing the script, Tom simply came into my head and wouldn't go away. Not that I wanted him to, because he seemed like such a marvelous fit. I tried to say, look, Tom, just give me a minute. Just let me finish the script first. But there he was in my head going, I'm Paul Edgecombe, I'm Paul Edgecombe.
You're always looking for something that is unexplainable, and there it is, sort of like lightning in a bottle.
He's truly a funny and talented man. There's been so many times where we haven't even had to say a joke. He'll just look at me a certain way, something's happening in a scene, and we're gone.
I had to get it out of our.
The biggest question I had, and the biggest question I think we both had, was who was going to play John Coffey?
Ah, the hunt for John Coffey. Oh, yes. I know we were in great shape with Tom, but unless we found the right John Coffey, I don't know how this movie would have turned out.
Bruce Willis was the main person that first told me about The Green Mile. He said, Michael, they're going to be making a movie about this dude named John Coffey. He said, I'm going to call Frank Darabont and tell him that I found John Coffey.
And Michael came in and read for us.
I ate, slept, used the bathroom, almost showered with that script.
Michael's screen test was amazing. But not as amazing as the performance that he eventually laid down day to day on the set. That essence that there's a part of Michael Clarke Duncan somewhere in him is John Coffey.
I went, yeah! I called my mother. I said, Mom, we'll be working with Tom Hanks. We started crying. I'm like, oh, we'll be working with Tom Hanks.
Frank Darabont has no life. This is it. His life is one long death row experience.
The best part of working with Frank is watching him watch the monitor, because he looks like a little, cherubic, excited boy.
Our sets.
It was really quite breathtaking to walk down the mile for the first time and see what an incredible job they'd done of recreating this death row E-block penitentiary.
How's this for a set? I love this.
Tomorrow, we have Stephen King visiting the set of The Green Mile, which will be very cool.
Happy birthday to you.
He was really floored by the incredible care that Terrence Marsh had put into designing this thing.
Frank took me around the corner and said, I want to introduce you to a friend of yours. Here's old Sparky.
You got the braces on the elbows.
Of course, I did what anybody wants to do when they see it. I said, strap me in it.
Frank, could I get out now?
And once you get in it, you say to yourself, oh boy, this is like being too far in my own head.
Mr. Jingles is the last living, breathing entity with which Del has or feels a closeness.
I was hoping we can get as much done with a live mouse as possible. And indeed, that's the way it turned out. We had a troupe of little furry actors. I think we had about 24 mice.
I saw the red thing.
They're really great little mice.
Awesome. That is. Oh, wow. There are times when you can get, or I can get a sense that it's going to fulfill what I imagined in the script. Sometimes it's really hard when you get in here and you're doing the work. But there are some moments.
The image that I think may live with me for a long time was the first time we came running across the river and I'm being followed by the posse. And it was the first time that John Coffey howled.
John Coffey is holding these two dead girls. And he's holding them, he's crying because he feels their pain and what they went through. And these guys, these guys that are tracking Coffey, chasing him, this posse of all these white people, it's like 50 of them. They're on horses, they got dogs, they got pitchforks, shotguns, and they're coming toward John Coffey. And I knew that this was acting, but every take of that scene, I was scared to death.
Good? Yeah, we've cut. Great.
In my mind, man, it was real. It was actually real, and those guys scared me on every single take.
15, 20 years from now, what will I remember? There was one thing, and I'll never forget this, and when Hanks was playing a scene with Michael Duncan. The heart of the movie is in that scene. In that scene, as we're shooting it, and I'm on Michael first, and I'm realizing I'm getting distracted by Hanks. Hanks is delivering an Academy Award-winning performance off camera for Michael Duncan. To give him every possible thing he needs or can use to deliver the best possible performance, he wanted Michael to do so well. He wanted him to look so good. I'll never forget that.
What am I going to say? That it was my job.
The symbology of the Green Mile is larger than any explanation of it.
I think Coffey, to me, represents those extraordinary, visionary souls that come along in human history from time to time that the rest of us feel compelled to exterminate.
John Coffey stands for everything that's right in the world. You know, like if you see an old lady crossing the street and you go over to help her, to me, that's John Coffey.
We continue, which is what John Coffey says. They kill each other with their love. We continue to kill each other because we fail to recognize that all of us have the demon, and that the only way to deal with that demon is with love and with compassion and with understanding.
Roll on two.
It's that great mystery. It's that great, it's that great injection of, you'll never believe what happened here.
The way everything fell together is like a dream come true.
I love those kinds of stories that really take me on a journey. You don't just watch, you become part of it. You become absorbed in it. You become a participant on that journey. To me, those are the most exciting films, and those are the kinds of films that I aspire to make.
We each owe a death. There are no exceptions. But sometimes, oh God, the Green Mile is so long.
What'd I tell you about? Follow me around. I ain't got time for this documentary shit.